Well, hello there, and welcome to Chipola College Television. This is Chipola Talks, where we talk a lot. If you got an idea for a show, don't call and tell me the idea. I got plenty of ideas. I need people, and I got some people today, people who is an author, who's written some books. We're going to talk about them. Here are three of them he's just got with him today. For all you folks sitting at home knowing it and try to handle everybody else's business, you need to read a little bit. But anyway, who do I have with me today?
My name's Jay Horn.
Jay Horn.
It's nice to meet you.
H-O-R-N-E?
Yes, sir.
Now, where are you from originally, Jay?
I moved up here from Tampa. I've kind of just lived around the southeast of the U.S. my whole life, but I came up from Tampa about 8 months ago. I was just moving here actually to get my insurance license to sell health insurance.
Yeah.
But when I got here, my sister moved in with my parents, and she had her kids with her. My parents were kind of going through a tough time. So what happened was I ended up just getting a part-time job to kind of help pay the bills since
Sure.
I just moved here. My insurance test was supposed to be in Tallahassee.
Right.
But it took me a few times to try and pass it, you know.
But you passed it.
No, actually, I haven't passed it. I kind of took a turn, you know, on things when I started writing.
Yeah.
Because when I first got here, I started working at the local Zaxby's, working with Rose and Audrey and all the managers there. And well, what happened was I'd get off late at night and come home, and everybody'd be in bed already.
Good time to write.
Yeah, exactly. So I just sit up with a, you know, Jack and Diet Coke or whatever, and just start typing away. Because I really didn't know anybody when I got here, so really didn't have a, you know, an outsource for anybody like to talk to and stuff.
Well, what kind of stuff do you write? I see you. I've held up the three books here. But don't talk about them individually, just collectively. What kind of stuff do you write?
Well, what got me writing in the first place was when I was working at Zaxby's there, I just kind of would listen to what people talk about, you know, and I just, when I got home, I started just type kind of like a journal entry, you know, at first. And as I was typing, I just started to realize I was talking about what people do, interacting, you know, like at work, and I hear them talking about different things. And one day at work at Zaxby's, I remember I was telling them that I'd started writing, and I'd found a website online where I could finally publish a book. And I've always written little short parts of stories my entire life, but I never, you know, got the hang of it and stuck to it, you know, because I didn't know I could publish it.
Yeah.
And when I found out, I started telling everybody, hey, I'm going to start working on a book, and I'm going to go ahead and publish it now. Well, about a week later, you know, I'm still talking to people about how I'm writing this book, and it never even struck me that they might not believe me, you know. So one day I hear a couple of the young kids in the back say, oh, we're authors, we're smart, you know. And just underneath the breath, really, I didn't think I could hear them, but I heard them, you know. And as I sat there and I thought, I'm scrubbing out the grease trap, and I'm like, you know, if I would have just shot back a sarcastic remark and let them know that I heard them, you know, maybe the air would have been cleared, and maybe I would have made a friend, and things would have been a little different. And so it showed me that if you just take things as a joke first and not look at them negatively, then you can really affect your life in a whole more positive way, you know. And it brought me back to my first girlfriend I ever had. I remember she had told me, if you can just learn to laugh at things that hurt you, then it has no power over you.
Sure.
And so this is what I started to write about in my book, Life's a Joke, you know, and that kind of...
Was that the first book?
Right, that's the first book that I came out with.
Life is a Joke was the first book.
Right.
How long ago was that?
That was about 8 months ago when I just started working at Zaxby's, and I finished it within 2 months because I was constantly typing every night, you know.
So I could be in here that night that I dropped the tray and you laughed at me?
Yeah, of course. Actually, there are people in there from Zaxby's. Their actual name is in there. I gave them a copy to read right before I left there to go work at Waffle House where I work now.
Yeah.
And I'm actually writing a book about Waffle House right now, too. I mean,
well, now, how long did it take you to do this book?
about 2 months.
2 months?
But once I published my first copy, it was really funny because once I published it, it still had errors and everything in it. You know, and I just ordered a copy for myself, just printed it. Right. I mean,
you have the license. I mean, what if a word misspelled? Who cares?
Right, you know. So I get this copy in the mail. It's the first book. I wasn't planning on distributing it yet. I just wanted to see what it looked like. And I'm flipping through it, you know. My mom walks in the room and sees me with the book, and she's like, what is that? And I show it to her, and she's like, you published a book? you know, because no one even knew I was writing. I didn't tell
secretly,
any,
sort of.
right. It was
Yeah,
kind of a
okay.
secret thing. And she's looking at me with amazement. She's like, I can't believe you did that. So she walks upstairs to her bedroom, and when she comes back, she has this stack of stories in perfect form. I mean, it's like little short stories. And she says, I got to show you this. She's like, I've kept these since you were 10 years old, and you wrote these little short stories.
Wow.
And they were so amazing, I just had to keep them in mint condition. So here I am thinking to myself, you know, for the past 29 years now, you know, I've gone through every career imaginable, from being a manager, you know, over to Quick Trip, to being a Navy SEAL, to being working in a construction industry, and I can't never find where I'm going to stick, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you could have told me 10 years ago, Mom, that I was a writer, you know?
What have you done with those stories that you wrote a long time ago?
Those stories that I wrote, I actually, when I went to reading them, I realized they were really good. They just needed a bit of editing.
Hold it up
so
in front of you a little bit so they can see you on yeah.
So I decided to split them into 2 different volumes, Published Youth.
Published Youth.
And I thought the best thing to do is make it available where kids, when they get my book and they read it, it kind of reads like Goosebumps.
Right.
The website publishedyouth.com, they can go there now, and they can submit their manuscripts. That way I can publish them into subsequent volumes, Volume 3 and Volume 4. It gives kids an outlet, you know, if they think that they have skill in writing, a way to publish, you know, because I never had that when I was a child. So that's the whole concept behind it.
What was the company that published this one? Same one?
Right, it's all printed by Lulu. I do all my own publishing. Lulu.com.
Yeah, we have kids here on campus that have actually, I don't know how much work they've done, but that's who we've been telling them they ought to go. Because anybody can publish a book if you got something you've written. The biggest problem is most people are not like you. They're not talented enough to write what they do.
Or don't have the time on their hands.
Well, all right. I took the red pill. Now let's talk about that. What's CCC? Talk about this book a little bit.
Now this one is a controversial pill. It's a controversial book because the pill actually on the front, it's a depiction of Coricidin cough and cold, is what it is.
What is that?
It's an over-the-counter cough medicine that I took when I was young. I was probably 17 or 18, and me and my friends, one of them talked me into taking it with them, you know, just to get high off of it.
Did it do you any good?
No, it didn't. Well, I guess besides coming up with a book on it,
well,
you know, to inspire other people not to take it. But it's kind of my fight, you know, to overcome addiction, and I'm the whole time it's kind of up in the air. I can't decide, you know, if like this is God talking to me, or if it's the drug talking to me, or what's going on. And it's kind of like my whole path leading me from addiction to finding God, you know, and in the end, kicking that addiction and realizing I'm too good for this, you know, and God coming to me in Zaxby's, as a matter of fact, you know, and just saying, you know, you're absolved of your sins as long as you accept me into your life. And that's kind of the whole concept of that book. It's,
well, if you said in one sentence, what does that book say when you finish reading? What do you know when you finish reading this? Good question.
That I'm going to say, to break it down, I'm going to say, if you're going to be addicted to one thing in your life, make it the perfection of life. Yeah. The perfection of your body, the perfection of your soul, you know, and if you're going to commit yourself to something,